might actually be a boy. Things that I would like to chew on, hanging out in the kids' garden. Hello, Mama's girls. Oh, Fury. It just so happens that I would like to see you. That was probably the easiest catch of Fury. All right, we'll be back. Okay, maybe I'll get the COOKIES's when we come back, okay? Let's go. Fury's munching on the grass that I haven't mowed. Right here is the leach field for our septic. So it grows really, really tall. I actually plan to move some goats into this area pretty soon, so I've left it long. Hi, Buster. You saw the camera come out, huh? I'll get you your treat in a minute. I'm busy. Hold on. There. Gotcha. So I do not have the exact right headpiece to achieve what we're going to attempt to achieve today. I want to draw a little bit of blood out of Fury. She is probably bred. And I say probably because I put her with the buck and things went as they should in order for her to get pregnant. But I am not entirely sure that she was in heat at the time. Fury's a mini La Mancha, which means that she is part La Mancha and part Nigerian dwarf. She's an F1 mini that happens to be exactly 50% of each breed. And La Manchas will cycle only once a year, a lot like a deer goes into a season in the fall. Same thing with a lot of standard sized goats. Nigerian dwarves are what's called polyestrous. They'll go into heat year round. Their summer heats can be a little bit weaker. They have heavier heats in the fall, but they'll go through heats year round. And so I really wasn't sure with my mini La Manchas, who are a cross of both breeds, how they would cycle. And so on a whim, I stuck her with the buck, and it looks like things happen the way that they should, but I'd like to submit a blood sample to the lab to know for sure if we are expecting some more mini La Manchas this fall. Oh, where the heck? I've lost my blade. So if you've never drawn blood from a goat before, it's actually pretty simple. It's a little bit intimidating because you are drawing blood out of the jugular vein, but it's really not too bad. It's not very difficult. What I have here are the red top tubes. These are vacuum sealed or vacuum. There's a vacuum in them, and when the needle punctures it, it acts to draw the blood into the vial, and so it's pretty slick, and hopefully we get it on the first try. This is why this headpiece isn't super ideal for this task, because this is in the way. I did buy the headpiece that attaches to this stand that just holds underneath their chin and leaves the neck completely open. That's easier, but we can manage with this. So I'm just reaching around her and kind of blocking off the jugular with my left hand just to bring it to the surface. And what I'm gonna do is miss. Fury is tolerating my misses very, very well. It's right here, I feel it. Oh, I gotta get a new vial. This one is now ruined. I heard some air suck into it, which means that this isn't gonna dry anymore. So I need a new one. This one's trash. I'm sorry, Fury, I am trying. You're doing so good. There we go. Got it. 7th time's the charm. So I really only need about a ½ inch worth of blood in the bottom of the vial, so we're good with that amount. Poor Fury, like a pin cushion. She did so good. I promised you a cookie. Here, I promised everybody else cookies too, but you deserve a few extra, don't ya? You did so good. Are you ready to get down? Okay, let's get down. All right. My poor fence. My poor fence. I know. Maybe we should do this somewhere else. Huh? Yeah, my poor fence. Come here. The gate handles you way better, doesn't it? Get my thumb with you. Goodness. You guys love cookies. Here, let's get some for the little goats. Look, Winnie's down here. Winnie got it. Could you see her? And Tori wants some. Here, Winnie. Oh, no, don't take it. Get it, Winnie. Quick. Yeah, you big goats stay over here. Oh, get a Tempest. Good girl. Good job. Here, Winnie. You got another one. What a good girl. We had mentioned in a recent vlog that we had one baby chick hatch and we were hoping that another one would hatch soon. Its mother had been pecking at its head. It still has a little bit of a scar on the side of the head, but thankfully another chickie did hatch just a couple days later. So these two have been hanging out. I know there was a few people that were worried about the lone chick, but she's all right. I think this one might actually be a boy. So you can wing sex chicks, and the way that you do this is when you see a nice smooth curve on the flight feathers that have come in, usually that means it's a rooster. There is a little bit of a stair step happening, but that looks roostery to me. Can you hold? And this one is a couple days younger. And that might be starting to look a little bit roostery too. See how they're kind of the same length? We'll have to see.
Then they're mostly roosters, because we only have like 2 that look like hens.
That would happen.
Hens.
How many chicks do we have now?
7.
Okay, so 5 of them are with the flock. These 2 are by themselves. Goat's milk ice cream. So I just bought this Ninja Creamy and I am working on perfecting the goat's milk recipe for ice cream. I think we're getting close, and then I'll be sharing the entire process with you. But this isn't actually requiring a cream separator at all, and this is what we get. So that's pretty darn exciting. It's delicious and amazing. I have been wanting to perfect goat's milk ice cream for a couple of years. Good morning. Good morning. It is the next day, and it was only a couple days ago that we had pretty intense heat, but today is a beautiful, actually crisp, cool morning. I think the low is in the high 50s for today, and that is a very welcome treat. So I'm going to try to take advantage of the cool weather this morning to do a couple garden tasks. I am dealing with more pest pressure in the garden this year than I have ever dealt with in years past. And I have a theory on that. There's a couple different reasons that pests can proliferate in a garden. But one thing that I did this year that I have not done in years past was I brought in mulch from an outside source that wasn't, you know, like a commercial source, like commercially bagged mulch. You can tell I haven't had to use the sprayer much at all because it's been in storage for probably 2 years. So it's kind of grungy, but I need to use this today. I'm noticing quite a lot of damage on the plants inside the greenhouse, and I think that some of the bugs that are in the greenhouse came in on that mulch. So the mulch that I got for inside the greenhouse came from a fallen elm tree that was actually mulched up sometime last year. So the mulch did have a pretty good amount of time to break down. So I was comfortable putting it on the garden, but I noticed really not long after I put the mulch down that there was all kinds of these really tiny, tiny little bugs crawling around the surface of the mulch. And those aren't the bugs that I think are damaging the plants. It looks like flea beetles, to be honest. But I just know that if those bugs are there, there's gotta be more things there. Bugs, bug eggs, things like that. So we're having kind of a hard time. Hopefully this guy still works. It should. I haven't used it much. This is what I bought to take care of a couple different issues that I'm noticing in my greenhouse. We're also seeing problems with worms inside of our tomatillos. My son is calling in the others for breakfast. This is come here! He's ignoring me completely. Are you on the prowl? Your feet are wet like you've been traveling through some dewy grass or something. Clearly our kittens are traveling further and further from the barn. I don't know where Jack is, but Colby came to visit us this morning. He's done. I interrupted him. I'm sorry, sir. So anyways, back to this. This is an organic approved product. It has, the active ingredient is spinosad or spinosad. This is something that I did not realize was an organic product until recently. So I'm gonna dilute this into my sprayer and hopefully it takes care of many problems that we have going on in the greenhouse. Okay, so 2 ounces of this per gallon of spray. This is a 4-gallon sprayer. So if we can do math today, that's 8 ounces. So basically a cup of this stuff. It does work. Yay! Okay, still pretty gross. I'm gonna try not to think about what's on this. It's all right. Let's go. So I went ahead and sprayed everything that I could in here, including the tomatoes. So this is the damage that I'm seeing. It's these little like pock marks on the leaves that are not really indicative of disease. There's a little bit of a difference. This is what disease looks like. This is probably blight on this tomato. These brown spots are different than like these brown spots on this particular tomato. It's almost like they are chew marks. This is a pretty good illustration here. I'm pretty sure that this is flea beetle damage. Normally the flea beetles essentially just stay on my eggplants. Usually they just remain on the eggplants and it's not a big deal, but you can see the damage here. It looks very similar to what we're seeing over on the tomatoes and on the ground cherries. See this? So the damage is just sort of widespread. So in theory, that spray should help both the flea beetle situation plus the tomato worm or whatever kind of worm it is that's getting inside the tomatillos. I was looking for a ripe tomatillo fruit so I could show you. More often than not, they do have the worms inside. I did show this on my most recent garden tour, but just in case you missed it, this one might be okay. Usually you'll see some sort of blemish, even if it's really small blemish in the fruit, if there's a worm inside. There's no worm in this one. Nope, this one is fine too. In my research, that worm that has been in the tomatillos does also like tomatoes, and so that's why I sprayed the tomatoes too, just in case they happen to find other things that they want to chew on in here. Because there's a lot of things that I would like to chew on in here, and some of them are blushing. Can you see that? We do have a little hole right here, so that will be interesting to look at later. I don't really want to spoil the garden tour, but some of these tomatoes are getting big. What are you doing? Are you next to the garden bed that is your color? You having a good time? Cute little Jack hanging out in the kids' garden. So I've got about 1.5 gallons left of this spray, so I'm gonna head over to the raised bed garden and spray some things over there that look like maybe they could need it. And I'll make sure to update you on whether or not Fury is pregnant. I won't know for about a week.